This is King Bo Christ, and you're now tuned in to the I Say That to Say This show. And we are live. Beautiful people. Episode, this is a collab episode. We got a special guest here, my man Matt from Vancouver of the Belligerent Canadian podcast. Welcome. This is long overdue, actually, now that I think about it.
I appreciate it, Bo,
I feel
man.
like I say that all the time, but it's true.
I've been looking forward to this for a while now, man. I don't know. I respect your game on Twitter. I think you're a really funny dude, so I knew we could have a good conversation.
I appreciate that, man. The world. You're one of the people that give me hope that there's still people that can fuck around. Like some people are like, oh man, how could you say that? And I'm like, it's the internet, bro. Chill out. Like I don't mean. No one ever really means this shit.
There's one thing I like in life. It's a little bit of a shit talk, you know. Like I'm not looking to offend anybody, but anybody who's game for a good trash session, let's have some fun, right?
Oh yeah. Of course.
I breed, man.
Definitely. And you know what? We could pick up. We could start right there, like you were just talking about, with starting your own podcast and it being centered around like the Jim Rome show.
Right. Yeah. Basically, I've always wanted to kind of just interact more with entertaining people that are more talented and more funny than myself. And I found my way into that with the Jim Rome Smack Off. I got in last year. I finished 11th, which is pretty bad. But luckily, the guys who were good at it, I had enough cred with them that they were willing to start having some conversations with me and let me know where they ended up in behind the scenes. And you find out how talented and funny some of these guys are. Like some of them are actors, some of them own vineyards. You know, they're talented, they're successful people, but we just talk shit in sports and we keep it real, and it's been a good time. We've only got 4 episodes out. This is going to be episode 5 with my man Bo, and it's been a great ride.
It was cool. I heard the Jeff from Laguna, right?
Left, actually, it's
LEF. You know what? Yeah. You know what he did, and that was actually a bit that he had where he said something. He's like left, right. Like no, he's like Jeff, like no left. He's like that's not a real name, dude, and he hung up on him. I thought that was fucking hilarious.
Yeah, he's the guy who's won the Jim Rome Smack Off the last 2 years, which is carried $5,000 prize each year.
Wow.
So he's rolled in 10 grand just based on being able to talk shit, and so he was a good guy. He's a great guy. We had a good conversation.
That's awesome, actually. I didn't realize there was a cash prize with that.
Yeah, that's kind of a new development in the later years, but yeah, it brings out the best part is it brings out some really shitty wannabes who are trying to get in. It's a nice carrot they dangle for like the lower end guys.
Right.
Yeah.
Hey, listen, getting in 11th is no small feat, man. Just getting on, period, is fucking cool.
Yeah, I appreciate it, man. Yeah, no, just getting in and not like basically what's called getting run is when he buzzes you out and you're done, like before you end your call. And I didn't get run. I got to the end of my call and he said that was a good call. And I had to go right after the guy we just talked about, Left, who ended up winning the whole thing with just this amazing stunt that he pulled. So and all I had was 5 minutes of shit talk.
Right.
And, yeah, so I just went on, gave my best shot. I was just happy to get in, looking to move up the food chain this year a little bit.
Yeah, man, definitely. So, what made you want to start your own podcast?
You know what? I'm a podcast consumer, and it's tough to find decent content out there. And I basically decided to try and create what I would want to listen to. Because I couldn't find it myself. I can't find like something along these kind of subcultural lines that I've started where I can just kick back and kind of get a behind the scenes look at some of these guys. And I decided there's nothing really addressing that need. And I could kind of selfishly, I could have the conversation myself. I'll record it. And, you know, if people want to listen, they can. And people have been listening, thankfully. And it's exceeded my expectations so far. It seems to grow every episode, so it's been a good time.
Yeah, no, I definitely see your numbers growing. That's fucking cool, man. And I like that you took that approach. It was pretty much the same thing with me. Like I just treated it like, all right, what would I want to listen to? And then you put my own spin on it. There you go.
I think that's the way. Like you got to enjoy the process, right? You got to have some fun with it. If it becomes like a second job or whatever, then it's like you're going to lose interest pretty quickly, or you're just going to the product's not going to be what people want to listen to. But I think if you're enjoying yourself and you're kind of seeking out what gives you juice in life, and you kind of feed off that a little bit, conversate about that, talk about that, people pick up on that. And I think that's kind of what keeps people listening.
Oh yeah, definitely. So now how is it being in Canada and connecting with people from, down below the US? Is it like all, because it's like natural talking to you. It's not like weird or anything. It's not like,
I live like 20 minutes from the border, right? So
that's
it's
what I
kind
was
of
gonna
like,
say. You're right there. So
yeah, like I'm as far as it feels really honestly like there's nothing but an invisible line there, and like you guys got kind of a shittier leader than we do right now. But by the way, what the fuck's going on down there?
I figured we're gonna have to go there eventually, right?
Yeah, well, we don't have to. I just wanted to that aside, but like if you
Good thing
remove
is
that,
no wall.
yeah, sure. If you remove that whole kind of like that aspect, that like political cloud, then we're all pretty much the same, man. It's just like
Oh
whatever
yeah.
the elites kind of, they can make their rules that we all have to live by that may make us a little different, but like fundamentally, we're all just trying to, make our money and feed our families and chill out.
This is true.
Yeah.
Definitely true. So how do you, like when you watch the news, are you really just shaking your head like what the fuck is going on down there?
I was. Now I'm just laughing, man. Like it's absurd, man. Shit is just ridiculous. Like, and I'm not saying that from any high ground here. I think the entire political landscape is just a disaster zone right now.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, like there's no like one guy who's gonna come into any office and save the day for all this stuff. It's just
Maybe The Rock. I don't know.
hey, as long as he comes out to his theme music, I'm on board.
Yeah, right. There you go. But yeah, man. I haven't talked about politics in a while because it's fucking depressing.
Well, we don't have to go there because I pretty much agree. But like, I would even just say that it's become so depressing because we've had a year of it now, and it's been almost a daily exhaustive. Like you're either fighting the fight from inside, you're defending that guy, or you're kind of on the broader, bigger army on the outside saying, "Are you guys kidding me?"
Yeah.
And it's just an all-day affair now. So it's kind of like nobody's changing their mind now. Everybody's dug in.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. And the lines are pretty much crystal clear at this point.
That's exactly it. Yeah.
And I will say this about it. It's been a year, and I'm just exhausted of the whole thing. But I think it was yesterday after this whole shithole countries comment and whatever else is going on. I was sitting and I was just like, and I'm seeing people defend it and everything, and I'm like, so I don't know. I'm like, something tells me that if he makes it through all 4 years of this, I think he's gonna get reelected. I know that sounds crazy, but
That sounds crazy, man.
but that's what like made it yesterday. I was like, I can't deal with this shit.
That doesn't sound any crazier than him being president right now.
True.
Like, to me, before he got in, man, it's an impossibility. And I think Hillary was a pretty despicable candidate in her own right. But the fact that it had to come down to those two, I think that's what warrants looking at the process and saying, how can we fix this? We can't be force-fed two disaster candidates. Right? We got to have more options than that. Yeah. I don't know how to do that.
I tell you what, if he does win again in 2020, he's going balls to the wall, man. I don't know. If he survives this shit and he wins again, we can really fucking forget it.
I don't think there's any doubt about that, man.
Yeah, but you know what else I was thinking about that I sent it to you when we were talking about our like mini, not even pre-production meeting, but just sharing about what topics. I was thinking about. It's actually hard to get into Canada if you have like a felony or like a misdemeanor or some shit. Is that I know you're on the West Coast, so I don't know about on your end, but here.
Yeah, that's a federal thing. So
yeah, okay, I thought so.
And it's the same for us, man. Like even if I got a DUI, I'm not getting past the border.
Really?
Yeah. Dude,
wow, I didn't know that it was the other way around.
You guys are sick as fuck, man. Yeah, you can't get down there. Like my uncle got a weed charge in like 70 something, and he still can't go down there, man.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, that's fucked up.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man, it's crazy. Like it's crazy strict. I know it's the same way up here too. Like any kind of inkling of criminal activity, they'll shut you right down. Sometimes you don't even need a record. They have the authority to just be like, you know what, just no. You just can't come in.
Yeah.
Like, why? Because we said no.
That's crazy. I'm out like roughly 8-9 hours from the border. So I've had two friends that have drove up and couldn't get past the border. They had to come back down to Long Island.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
That had to be that has to be a fucking terrible drive down. But
yeah.
One good thing about politics, and if it's on your side of the border, is Norm Kelly. This guy's the man. Like,
I did that. Yeah. Anybody who's just gonna speak kind of truth like that, it's refreshing these days. There's no political angle to it. He's just kind of saying what his heart's telling him. That's not what a politician usually does. So when you see it, you're like, hell yeah, man.
Sure. And we both can appreciate that he does things to just get off for the sake of the joke. And I see that, and I'm like, my man, there you go, Norm. That's how politics is supposed to do social media.
Exactly.
What is he? Like counselor or something, right? Or
yeah, I think he's out in Toronto. So he's on your side of the country.
Right.
Yeah. He's like a councilman or something, but he's gained some fame just because he's basically been just preaching truth, which is, I mean, who sees politicians do that anymore?
Right. At least a truth that is realistic to everybody else.
Yeah.
But anyway, enough about politics. Now you're a big sports guy.
Yeah.
And I wanted to. I was actually curious. And I don't want to talk to you like you're a fucking alien or something. But like I was curious. You know, I was like, And I noticed that you watch a lot of the NFL, obviously. But I was thinking like, do you watch the CFL at all?
No. You know what?
Really?
I grew up watching it. I catch a lot of heat for my take on it up here because it's some people take some great pride in it up here, but I'm gonna go ahead and give you my take on it. I think it's fucking shitty league. Like it's just kind of like a minor league, man. It's like I'm not going around watching AHL hockey. I'm watching NHL hockey. I'm watching the best of the best. And that's what I'm watching in sports. So it's like, I know it's a local league and I should show some patriotism, but fuck that. The NFL's the league.
Sure. But see, that's why I say it was I didn't know. I'm like, I don't know how to ask this because
I catch heat up here for that stuff. Like, because like some people, like the beer drinking, like Labatt's wearing, flannel wearing type guys, like they don't like that take at all. They call me un-Canadian, but hey, it is what it is.
Sure. And that's why I had to ask, because I'm like, well, I know I sound biased, but the NFL is the best of the best.
I like NFL better than I like hockey, and I'm Canadian, so
I think that's the first. That's crazy.
Yeah, man.
I tried hockey. It doesn't work for me.
Yeah, you know what? It was better than like 10 years ago, but it's still my second favorite sport.
Yeah. You watch any other sports?
Yeah, I'm a Lakers fan. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, man. I was a big Kobe guy growing up.
Sure.
And, just stuck with the Lakers in post-Kobe era, even through this weird LeVar Alonzo Ball phase we're going through right now.
No, fucking forget about it. Did you order any sneakers?
Yeah. Then they emailed me back saying I was a small baller and I can't have any.
For those of you who are not in the loop with that, that's hilarious. LeVar Ball put his shoes on. What was that, like June? I think.
Something like that. Way back, yeah.
He pulled the switcheroo. The Better Business Bureau got involved, and people that complained, he told them they were small ballers, which I think is weird. But hey, it's LeVar Ball. Nothing should shock you with that guy.
I'll give him this. When I first heard that, I laughed my ass off. That's funny.
Oh no, that shit was. What I knew was extremely funny because I read it. Like I read it and actually laughed out loud.
Yeah,
I was like, oh, that's some shit to send an email.
Sitting alone in my vehicle, and I read it on my phone, and I burst out laughing. Like, that's fun. Yeah.
I was like, yeah, that's pretty good. Even if you spent $400 on sneakers, you got to give them like that was pretty good.
Yeah, you got to recoup it for sure. But that's going to make you at least chuckle when you get that in the mail. Yeah, you sound like a small baller to me, sir.
You know what? Like, don't worry about your refund. Go get a better job.
Your money's been spent.
Yeah, seriously. But now I think with Canadian football, I think I tried to watch. It's not called the Super Bowl. We'll just say the championship. I forget what is it called?
The Grey Cup.
Grey Cup. Okay, there we go. Pardon me.
Yes.
But I tried to watch it, and it's relatively the same. But I felt like it was, and I don't want to insult the CFL. I don't mean it in a bad way, but
man, you take some bullets for me.
but it was almost like watching a high school game. It was very weird, and I think it was just because the setup, like was the end zone 20 yards.
The end zone's huge. Yeah, the field's 10 yards bigger. They only play 3 downs, so they pass a lot. There's pretty much no running game.
Right.
And, the size of the end zones is absurd. It's basically an ocean. It's ridiculous.
Pretty much. That's why it was so weird. I'm like, this is like watching Madden, watching the computer play Madden on on like rookie.
Yeah, scores of a total over 100 points aren't unheard of in the CFL. It's wild.
It's crazy.
Not for me. I'm looking forward to the games this weekend, the NFL playoffs.
You know what? I was boycotting. This is the first year since 1998 that I did not watch one NFL game.
I was following your boycott. I would have joined you if I had the strength, but I didn't have the strength.
Nah, save yourself, man. Because it didn't get me. You know what it got me? It got me my friend, a close friend of mine, which I guess my high school best friend, winning my fantasy football league, and I'm taking last place. That's what this fucking boycott got me. So
yeah, I got second place in mine this year, which
really?
But at least there was some consolation cash.
Yeah, I was gonna say at least you get a little something. I gotta fucking hear this guy until September, which I don't want to do. It was great.
I hear you. Yeah, missing the playoffs is tough.
Especially last play, and I'm the commissioner of the league, so it was even more fucked up to just watch it unfold. I had no idea what was going on. I was like, this is crazy. But I gave in my boycott for the playoffs last week. I was like, all right, playoffs are different. I gave it up.
Wild card weekend, man. Like, you got to come out of retirement for wild card weekend.
And you know what? I came out for the Chiefs Tennessee game. It was a pretty good game to come back to, I got to say, if you're going to come back to anything.
Wow, that when he threw that ball that got blocked and then he caught it again and took it into the end zone. That was one of the wildest plays I've ever seen.
Oh, hands down. That was actually I blinked and I was like, wait, what the fuck just happened?
Yeah.
And then I watched the replay and I was like, yeah, that's like top 3 craziest plays I've ever seen.
Yeah, Kansas City died at that moment a little bit inside.
Yeah.
But another chance.
So does he get? So if this was fantasy football points, would he get like 11 points for that? Is that that's like a 12-point play? No.
I have no idea. I think it's a pass and a reception touchdown. So possibly like you're looking at like a 13-point play there.
Yeah, and if you're PPR, that's one way. Right. That's crazy.
Damn it. Yeah. That might have won some championships there.
Yeah, I was gonna say I actually got to look that up to see if that counts. I think it should.
Yeah, that's a good point. I didn't think about that.
Huh. Yeah, that's crazy. But so who do you root for with in the NFL?
Chargers. I was a San Diego Chargers fan. Now they're in LA with my Lakers, so I'm planning a dual trip next year.
Oh, nice. That'll be a good weekend.
Worked out well for me. I know it sucks for San Diego, but it worked out well for me.
Hey, they'll be all right. No, they get 80 degrees all year round. Like they'll be okay. They'll live.
You don't need a football team. Go to the beach.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah. So how's the weather in Long Island these days? What are you dealing with?
You know what? It was just we just had a stretch of below zero. Well, and that I complained about it on the last podcast I did because it would say like it would say 20 degrees feels like -9, and I'm like, just fucking say it's -9 then. Like I don't understand this. This is strange. But it's been like that for like 2 weeks, and today we had like a 54-degree day and it was raining, so 40 degrees even when it got to that, it felt like spring. So I was good with it.
Yeah, shit. Yeah, West Coast out here, we're like the only place in Canada where it's not like ice covered this time of year. It's just raining outside right now. It's kind of like rainy this time of year, a little gray, but we probably get snow like 3 times, maybe for 3 days each time, and then that's about it. It's not bad.
Yeah, that's amazing actually.
Yeah,
I think was that your picture that you put up? I saw you put up a picture of like on the beach or something.
yeah, man. I was stoked for a walk out near my apartment. That's a place called Stanley Park, downtown Vancouver. It's pretty big park. I was out on the seawall there, and that was like winter, probably. Well, it was the other day, so it was like probably 5 o'clock. So I just snapped a picture. West Coast winter. It
No,
was a nice,
that was
nice.
like an amazing view. I was like, damn, he gets to walk out to that. I was like, it's pretty good. I got to make my way up to Vancouver.
Yeah, one thing about my city, it's pretty. It's it's expensive. It's got a lot of faults, but it's pretty for sure.
Sure. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
man.
crazy.
I was thinking about making a New York run actually in the next little while here, so we might have to knock back a couple drinks.
No, yeah, of course. We absolutely have to link up.
Right on.
No doubt.
Yeah, man.
And see, hopefully by then we could look at that perfect timing. We could we'll get some recreational marijuana. We can go into a fucking Walgreens or something and get our fix on.
Now we're talking.
Do you guys have a recreational up there?
Yeah, it's kind of like basically it's gonna be legal, so the cops just stop giving a shit. Like I bought this shit over the counter without any ID or anything, so it's kind of like
It's a good deal, man.
not legal yet, but it's legal. Nobody gives a shit.
What a time to be alive.
No doubt, man. When I was getting pulled over when I was in high school, you were probably the same. Like it used to be a fucking big deal. Now it's like no
You know
problem.
what? I didn't start smoking until like 3 years ago, 3 or 4 years ago.
Yeah, no, I was smoking back when I was like 16, rolling with the guys, and you get pulled over, and like, man, we got to get rid of this shit. It's a problem.
Yeah,
Now,
seriously, everyone's freaking out over like a half a gram or some shit. Right? You got a dub on you, and everybody's like, "We're going to jail, man."
exactly right. Exactly.
Yeah, I used to get so fucking paranoid. Like I was I don't know. I don't even see weed was different. I guess I don't know. You never knew what you were getting. You was just like when exotics first came out, I would hit it once, and I'd be like, "Wait, did I say that out loud? Did I think that, or what was going on?" So I just couldn't handle it.
Oh yeah, man. I know how you feel. There's like a good portion of people who stop because of that, and that's probably for the better. Like that's kind of where you're supposed to stop. I never had that stop sign.
Yeah, then I got a little older. Like a couple years ago, I was like, fuck it. And then I was like, look, I didn't have a heart attack the last time. Nothing's gonna happen. I'll be all right. And after that, it was all good.
Well, I think it's kind of one of those things you need at least a minor tolerance to it. If you smoke like once a year, you're not going to have a very good experience.
Oh yeah, no, 100%, 100%. You know what I just thought about also? Jump back to the NFL.
Yeah,
they gotta like readjust that policy. I don't think it's gonna happen because Roger Goodell's gonna be around for a long ass time.
Yeah, like you got guys smoking it for pain, taking edibles for pain. Me, all the while, it's like, no, you're gonna get suspended for 4 games if you do that. But here's a bunch of like synthetic heroin.
Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly.
It's preposterous, man. But some of the things with the NFL, like that's why when you went on the boycott, like I agree, man, they need their asses kicked. But it's like some of the decisions they make are absolutely just ridiculous. And the fact that their contracts aren't guaranteed and guys are out breaking their backs like Ryan Shazier, that's weird in its own right too.
Yeah. And you know what? And that's why I didn't feel accomplished, and it was fucked up, after 16 weeks, 4 months or whatever it was of a boycott, and then nothing changes, it's the same bullshit. And I'm like, see, we didn't get anything. We didn't get any leverage out of that. You know what I mean? It started over Kaepernick, but even shit like that. And it's not even just the guys with the guaranteed contracts. I think about the practice squad guys that are just going to get on. They've been playing football since 8 years old. You know what I mean? They smoke a little weed and they're kicked out of the league forever. And like their dreams are gone for what?
Yeah, no, exactly. Because they were being normal kids.
Right. That's another thing. These guys are 20 years old.
Yeah, man, exactly. Think about if I think about me at 20 years old and you got an entry level NFL type money, it's like weed going around. Like, yeah, man, I would be guaranteed. And then you get that one suspension, and then they're testing you every week. So you literally got to live super clean. And who's 21 and lives and a millionaire and lives super clean? So,
That's what I was gonna say. That's the most important part. If you were 21, you had to just live clean, fine. You're making 60 grand, whatever you get at 21. If you
right.
have $6 million, that's a whole other ball game.
You're living the life. You got teammates taking you on private jets to Vegas. Like, what are you gonna do, man? You know, like, I mean, you and I at this age, we could probably handle that. But I mean, at 21, 20, like anybody, I would say 90% of kids are going down at that point.
Sure. No, I'm not, listen, I don't even know if I can handle that shit right now. $6 million.
Yeah, fair enough, man. I don't even know at 50 if I would be able to handle it.
Yeah, seriously. You know, like a guy like Josh Gordon.
Right. Sure.
The guy had what, 2 years, 3 years of his career.
Ricky Williams, man, how much shit did he take back in the day? Right, like suspended.
He was the poster boy,
and that was all weed. That was just nothing but weed. And he's just like, man, let the guy smoke weed. He can run like a fucking wind.
He's Ricky. I don't know him personally, obviously, but when you watch him in interviews or whatever else, he's a genuinely good dude.
Yeah, he's intelligent too. Yeah, he's articulate. He's intelligent. He just liked to smoke weed, and he wasn't willing to give the NFL that kind of power over himself because he'd already made some dough. So it's like, yeah, fuck you. I'm just gonna keep smoking weed. Spend me if you want.
Yeah, and I used to think he was an idiot. I used to just be like, stop smoking weed. And now that I'm older, I'm like, you know what? I'm like, good for you, man. You know what? Don't let them control you. Fuck it.
Yeah, for sure. Especially you already got like $8 million in the bank. You can tell them to go fuck themselves, right?
Yeah, of course.
Money at that point, yeah.
You know, and one day, probably, you know, what is it, 2018 now, in like 2040, when these players are just smoking weed and they're not taking, hopefully they're not taking these prescription pain pills, like you said, synthetic marijuana at that point. I mean, synthetic heroin at that point.
Right.
Well, we'll look back and look at how ridiculous it was, all these suspensions, hopefully.
I think that's only a matter of time. Just like we're going to look back at everybody that we threw in prison over marijuana. And it's like, what the fuck were we doing throwing people in prison over marijuana in any level of it? Even if you're trafficking it, who gives a fuck? It's a fucking plant, man. Like, it's ridiculous.
It's literally a weed. Like,
the fact that the government ever tried to assert that kind of control that's kind of a problem in all Western society. If they're trying to take control over plants, but they're shoving synthetic heroin down your throat. It's like, but why are you doing that? It's because there's money in it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. Like, they'd be better off just with weed. Everyone smokes weed.
Yeah.
I used to think it was like a secret society, or maybe because how, you know, the legal issue, everyone was just like, oh, nope, not me. Now, everyone smokes weed. It's the strangest thing.
Yeah, man, it's true. I remember being at like family functions now, and you're like, I'm out smoking with my cousins, and like my aunts and uncles are coming up now, and just like, yeah, that's it. Wow. And just casually, nobody gives a fuck. It's like, yeah, let's hit it. Yeah.
At Thanksgiving, my grandma sees all of us going outside. My cousin, she knows what's going on, you know. How long this shit been around? Like, all right, it's like I'd rather you smoke weed than smoke a cigarette.
Yeah, or be the guy who drinks like a half bottle of whiskey and starts acting like a jackass, right?
Yeah, true.
Yeah, like I'd rather be the stone guy over looking for a piece of cake after.
Yeah, word.
Making a genuine ass out of himself because he's like can't hold his alcohol.
Yeah, crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, I don't know. Hopefully, see, and I stress that a lot on this podcast. Just when I think there's, you know, we started off talking about politics. We didn't want to get into it. And we're like shaking our head like, I don't know where this is going. But then I run into guys like you and other people, and I'm like, there's still, like, we have it. We're out here. I just don't know. I guess we just got to find the balance of the gray area, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, and every week, my listeners, they tune in, whether they talk to me on Twitter and by the way, go follow the Belligerent Canadian podcast. I'll put it in the show notes. Definitely go give that a listen. Appreciate it. Every week, it surprised me how many people agree with me, and I'm like, wow. I'm like, all right. So there are normal people out here, but you know,
there are, man. Oh, there's lots. You know what it is like if you look to social media or places like that to quantify like the general population, it's like, man, the good people are kind of generally laying out, firing off funny tweets in the sidelines. They're not yelling and screaming at people or corporations or like getting outraged at every fucking thing here and there. Those are the loud people that kind of people react to, and they get a reaction out of companies because they yell at them.
Of
But
course.
most people don't give a fuck, you know? It's like, stay the fuck out of our lives. You
Yeah,
know,
no,
we
seriously.
post it off on the
We're
spotlight.
rewarding that bullshit these days.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. We're fucking rewarding these like whiny ass fucking people who are just like, how dare you call her this and that? You know what? We can't all go through life not upsetting people. It's just, you know, there used to be a time when upsetting people was okay. You know, it's like,
Right.
you know, you were just kind of like, you know, you might be an asshole to that particular group of people, but that was okay with everybody. And it was just kind of, now it's like you have to just conform to this shut your mouth, stay in your lane person, or you're some kind of, you know.
Oh yeah, true. And that's the thing. Like with the people they should be do it to, like the old fucking bigot idiots like Trump. They just let him like that's him. But then people like me and you, we say some bullshit on Twitter, just trying to be just fucking around, and they come down on you, and I'm like me? Like what? You kidding? You know, last night I saw I forget what it was. I don't know if it was New York Times or I forget what. I don't want to, you know, misquote. I don't want to say with the wrong media outlet, but they were talking about Monica Lewinsky was a Me Too victim, and I'm like, all right. I'm like, this shit has gone too far. I'm like, Monica Lewinsky was not a fucking victim. I'm like, what? All these hours of CSI marathons and fucking SVU marathons has us looking for crimes that are not there. I'm like, she sucks some dick in the Oval Office. It happens. Like,
I couldn't agree more. And now there's this movement of like any man in any position of power who's like who's had any kind of sexual interaction with a subordinate staff member is now some sort of a predator.
yeah.
And that's probably fucking like 25% of married people, dude. Like it literally, people get married when they meet at work. That's where people interact, and that's how you know people. It's not me personally, but I know a lot of people who meet, whether directly or indirectly, through their employment. And if a guy can't marry the woman who works in a lower job, level job with him, then that's absurd. You know, that's not how it works.
You're gonna have to walk through with like blinders on, and you know you can't even look to your left and your right anymore. This is getting
not the girl that you like your head over heels for. No,
right.
she's 2 pay grades lower than you.
Right.
So, you know, you can't dare do that. No.
Oh man, but yeah, that Monica Lewinsky thing, I was just like,
oh man,
it makes me want to shut off the internet. I was just like, this is crazy.
The absurdity of all that stuff. Yeah, you look at that, and you just like close the phone down. You're like, all right, I got it.
Like enough's enough.
Yeah,
going to read a book or some shit.
Exactly.
Yeah, it was like Monica Lewinsky's a hero. You know, she was slut shamed all through the late '90s, and I was just looking at it like, this can't be real. And you know, how Twitter sets it up so you can scroll through like, and then see not the comments, but you see the interactions. So I'm like scrolling, and people are like, what? Because a lot of listeners are like, they're not on Twitter. When people aren't on Twitter, I'm like, how do you not? Like, that's weird. Where do you see things? Like, but so for that, you know, for them to describe it is weird, but you see the comments and I'm like, what the fuck? And your established accounts, like, you know, Washington Post or whoever, are like, yeah, she was a victim, and you're like, what?
Yeah.
No, don't spread this bullshit.
Yeah, let's not overuse the word hero, guys. Like, geez.
I said the same thing.
Yeah.
I was like, look, did the media mistreat her? Sure. I'll give you. And was that fucked up in its own right? Absolutely. Nobody deserves to have their privacy invaded. But like, she saved the dress with "come" on it. Like that looking back, that almost deserves it. That's hilarious. You're telling me you're not gonna ask your questions, like.
Right. Like, let's not totally turn a blind eye to her role in dress, so that she could fucking single-handedly sink the president of the United States, who she blew under his desk while, I don't know, fucking a cigar, I think. Something.
Yeah, like not even the cigar, the case.
Oh Jesus, yeah. I mean, I guess the cigar would, ruin the cigar then. But
you know, and I think it was obviously it was the Lewinsky scandal, but she tried to cover it up. Like, I think she even knew, like, whoa, all right, let's not blow this out of proportion.
But, well, that's history book shit. She's probably just like, oh my God, I'm gonna be in the fucking history books.
Of course.
Who blew the president, right?
Yeah, sure. That's why she saved the dress. She knew she was ahead of her time. Like she's like the resale value on eBay for this is gonna be crazy.
You know what? Yeah, it's collateral. She
Yeah,
made
seriously.
it was smart, I guess, because probably she wouldn't have been fully ever believed if she did save the dress.
True. This
Yeah,
is true. And I think about how things like that change the world.
yeah, for sure.
That
For sure.
definitely changed the landscape of the world, which is crazy.
Right. Oh yeah. Well, think of like back in the day, all the presidents, all the ass they were getting just without any problem. Like there
Sure.
was no just sneaking tail into the White House on a nightly basis. If you camped in front of the White House, you didn't see it. It's like
Seriously, probably had like they have a secret wing that we don't know about, like a boom boom room where it
that's
all
right.
goes down.
That's right. And then now there's like drones and there's all this like everybody's got a camera in their hand, and so they got to be way more careful. You can't. It's the same with pro athletes. All those guys running around on their wives all the time. Like they can't be running around in the away team clubs now. And
Oh
like
yeah, forget about it.
yeah, like they used to be basically what they lived for, right? Be on the road, bunch of road ass, and now that's all over because
Yep.
everybody's recording things on their phone 24 hours a day.
Think about the legend Wilt Chamberlain,
Well,
who
10
alleges to had sex with over 10,000 women.
unbelievable numbers,
Do
but
you know how much he would fill up YouTube with all that footage of him going out with different, like his Instagram would have 30,000 pictures on it. Like
yeah, no doubt.
10,000, like you can't hide that. That doesn't happen in this day and age.
Right, like 365 days in a year. So like I'm trying to do the math, man. Like
I
that's
forget what the math was, but it was something crazy. It's like 3 women a day for like the stretch of his career, or some crazy ass
yeah. You know what, man?
every day. Not
Wilt. I could see it. Wilt's. If anybody was gonna pull that off, put your money on Wilt. He was scoring machine on the floor and off the floor.
That's a fact. He did score 100 points. That's a fact.
Yeah,
My man Wilt.
credit where credit's due.
But how do you? I was curious to know also. I know Toronto, like I said, is on the other side, and you're a Laker fan. But do you think it's weird that Drake is so involved in how he transitioned? Just how did he swindle? He like front row swindled his way into being into the Raptors organization.
Super fucking weird, man. Yeah, I think it's fucking stupid. Like, but I understand that Toronto is trying to kind of hip up the Raptors because Maple Leafs are king in that town by a mile, the hockey team, and so the Raptors are kind of trying to establish their place in Toronto sports. And I think Drake, being more of a Raptor fan than a Leaf fan, and being like kind of an icon to that city, I'm kind of a Drake fan. I think he's pretty good, but like I think it's kind of super fucking weird, the relationship too, because he's kind of acting like he's almost like in an executive role with the team, which I think so. He has some sort of stupid title.
I was gonna say, I think they gave him a title. I don't know what his role is, but he has like
some kind of fucking title. But yes, it's weird. I think it's weird.
I thought that was and to me, the Raptors, like you said, they're second, but I really forget about hockey. So when you say that with the make believe, I'm like, oh, right.
But
So
I think the Raptors still have a pretty strong following. Like they're selling out, and they're still strong. Toronto's a huge city, so it's like they can there's big enough town for both of them to easily survive and thrive. So it's like I think now having Drake has definitely kind of made it cool to like the younger generation to be a Raptor fan. So they're definitely they planted their flag now. Whereas unfortunately my Vancouver Grizzlies suffered their fate some years ago. Yeah, I could never go to the Raptors though. I had to go south to the Lakers. I couldn't handle it.
Sure. I respect that. See, I you know what? It's crazy. It's weird that just because you're in line with them, it made sense. Like if you were like, I'm a Rockets fan, I'd be like, that's weird.
Yeah.
But like how'd you make it? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I'm a big Milwaukee Bucks guy. Yeah.
Like right, exactly. Yeah. And I'm New York everything except for football.
Okay.
Bronco fan.
Bronco fan. Any particular reason for that?
That was the first football game I ever watched.
Nice. I always like it when dudes have a good reason for latching onto a sports team because it's just like there's definitely a profound moment if it's not a hometown team. So
Oh, of course, and that's exactly what, like Knicks. The Knicks were just, it was a second nature. My mom was a Mets fan; she'd take me to Mets games, so that just happened. But the
yeah,
Broncos was all me. Like it just was on, and I was like, oh, this is crazy. And I happened to get the first taste, John Elway, pause, and I was just like, this guy's fucking awesome. You know, he was going down, doing what he, and I was just like, all right. And I happened to get lucky, it was lucky at the time. Went straight to the Super Bowl. It was just a weird, I just thought that's always how it's going to be. Then he retired, and things went downhill from there. And I was like, like this Bronco thing sucks now.
until Elway took it all over and then brought Peyton into town.
Oh, you know what? I hated Peyton Manning for 10 years. When did he play in Indy for 12 years? I hated him for 12 years. I remember when Adam Schefter, I'll never forget. He tweeted it when it happened. Peyton Manning is working out for the Broncos, and I was like, wait, that's weird. And then, they said he signed, and I was like, holy shit. And it was like a switch just flipped. I was like, this is the greatest thing that ever happened to me. Like, it was crazy.
Fuck yeah, I was never a Peyton guy.
Oh no, I totally get it.
Yeah,
you're the same, the AFC, so he was just he killed us.
Well, and as a Charger fan, I can't get with the Broncos either, obviously.
You know what's crazy? When you said it, I feel a little removed from football, so I'm like, oh yeah. But if you said that last year, I'd have been like, I don't know, Matt. Like,
it's a suffering fan base, but I've decided just to stick. But I've stuck with him. I liked him because I don't know, who Doug Flutie is, obviously.
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah, he had a big CFL impact back when I was a kid and actually watched it because family was all watching CFL. So Doug Flutie was like a big deal in Canada. He played in BC here for a bit.
Right.
And then he went down and he was signed with the Chargers. They were kind of like, they signed him as a backup. That's kind of where he got his NFL return. So I kind of just latched on for like whatever reason. Like he wasn't even playing.
Wow, that's cool.
I started watching Charger games, and then he ended up going to the Bills, and I just stuck with the Chargers because I'd fallen, like, you grow fond of the team and stick with them. So Flutie went to the Bills. I stuck with the Chargers. That was probably, who knows, 90s, probably late 90s. Yeah.
Wow, that's crazy. See, I think that's cool. That's how it should happen. It should be you shouldn't just watch. I mean, I don't know. I can't speak for everybody, but I love when it's a story behind it. Like you said, it's not like you just turn it on the Giants and they're just there and they just go with them. Like it should be something to bring you to the team. It makes it, that gives it that nostalgia,
Yeah. As always, girls are always saying they're fans of a team, and I'm like, why is that? It's like, because my boyfriend's a fan of a team.
Yeah, right. You know what's funny about that also? I heard this was years ago. I was telling we were talking about like the March Madness brackets or whatever, and the chick was just like, oh yeah, I pick them because they're colors. And I was like, that's the fucking dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life. Right? And then I don't even know how it came up, but in the same conversation, I think like the Broncos came up and they're like, oh, what made you watch the Broncos? And I was like, oh, the colors. I was like, the orange and blue are the same as my high school colors. She gave me the nastiest look, like, oh. And I looked at her and I was like, oh, shit. I was like, damn, I think you're right. Like,
yeah, so maybe I was. Yeah, but that was kind of you as a youngster too. So.
Oh yeah, no. See, that was granted. I was like 9. It was 1997. I was 9 years old.
I think ladies and 9-year-old guys take in the game at the same time. He's gonna get the blowback with the ladies.
We're gonna get killed. They're gonna kill you. Remember that's at Belligerent Canadian podcast.
I love you, ladies.
If you want to take that slander there, make sure you take it to the right place.
This is exactly where people are gonna get outraged.
Oh man, but yeah, man. So yeah, other than the Broncos, everything is Knicks, Mets. The Knicks. And that's why I love the NFL so much. The Knicks were fucking terrible in my lifetime. The Mets went to the World Series, but by then I quit on baseball. What was it, 2001? I think.
Yeah, that was back in the day.
Yeah, right. So by then I was just like, this is, that's a long ass season to hold on. So I was like,
I grew up playing baseball, so I got a little affection for it. But it's tough hanging in for a whole season. There, it's a grind. Like I basically
2 games.
Like did the Blue Jays make the playoffs? It's like, no. All right, I'll talk next year then. Like, playoffs, like, yeah, they're in. It's like, all right, let's watch some baseball. Yeah.
I tried playing baseball in a little league. Was at bat, got hit in the hand. I was like, nope, not doing that again.
Done. Yeah, fair enough.
I'm like, nope, that was terrible.
Oh, shit. Did you play anything growing up?
Oh, football. I've
Oh, yeah.
been playing football since 8 years old.
Position?
Well, I was wide receiver.
Oh, yeah.
I had a stint at safety for a little, but I'm a terrible tackler.
You're a receiver and a safety. That means you can run and you can hit.
Yeah, I play in a touch league now.
Oh, yeah, nice. Right on.
Yeah, so we actually just won our Super Bowl, which was cool.
There you go.
But,
nice.
And it's cool. It's nice not to be too sore on Tuesday. You know, you play in a touch league with a bunch of men that work on Monday. Occasionally get a couple of assholes sprinkled here and there, but it's cool to still get out there and just play the game. Even though I used to think it was ridiculous. I was like, really touch football. But now that I'm a little older, I'm like, you know what? It's more my speed. I'm like,
yeah, I'm not going to blow out my ACL on a Sunday afternoon.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Yeah, sure.
Do you play anything now?
No, just some shoot around with the boys. I play golf. Actually, is probably what I spend the most money on playing. Yeah, but I suck. But you know, that's the story of golf. So
I have a dream to play golf in Alaska at midnight. Like when the sun's low, when it's light for that stretch.
I'm down, man. I got close.
Yeah, you know what? When I go on my podcast world tour, we're gonna make that happen.
We can drive. We can drive from here. It's not out of reach.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Definitely, we'll make that happen when I'm on the West Coast.
There we go. Sounds like a plan.
Yeah, man. So what do you have planned for your podcast? Like, did you set any goals for yourself, or you're just kind of going with the flow?
Yeah, well, I want to get 12. I had a nice round number of 12 episodes out, kind of this format. You know, like the smack off guys, as I've kind of been doing, and I have a former employee of Jim Rome coming on one of the next episodes, and I've got also his executive producer, Adam Hawk, has agreed to come on. He's a good guy. Like basically, when you call, he's the guy you're talking to. So he's agreed to pick me up and come on, which is a good get for the podcast.
That's awesome, man. That's a good look.
Yeah, after those 12 episodes, I'm gonna reassess kind of where we're at and what kind of content I'm gonna use moving forward. It might be more of the same. It might be a shift, and we'll take it from there.
Nice. Are you only on SoundCloud?
No, up on Stitcher, Google Play. It's available straight from the website, belligerentcanadian.com. And it's at Belligerent Nuck on Twitter if you want to get at me for my sexism or anything.
Oh, listen, but if you're going to get at him, don't scroll down his timeline because you're going to have a lot more to complain about. I'm going to tell you that right now.
Yeah, no doubt. Like I try and keep it from getting suspended, but you know,
that's hilarious.
I toe the line. I like to. You talk about being wide receiver. I like to dance on that sideline all the way to the end zone.
All the way to the end zone, right?
Sometimes you step out, though. You know, it happens. Yeah.
Yeah. Knock on wood. I won't use myself, but I had a friend get suspended on Twitter, and I was just like, how? I was like, you have to really fucking violate to get suspended on Twitter. Like, you really got to cross the line.
Yeah, I had one for using the C word. I won't repeat here, but I dropped the C word, and it wasn't even like maliciously. I wasn't even attacking anybody really. It was just kind of dropped it in like more of a joke context. But yeah, they dropped a ban on me, so I emailed appealing and just like, I see where you're coming from, but the ban stands, and then it was reinstated, and it's been fine since. But
was that with the your personal account?
Yeah, man. Yeah. And
was that recently? I think I actually remember that.
Yeah, that was like probably 2 months ago, something like that.
Oh shit, I do remember that. Yeah. Wow, that's crazy. I never realized what happened though.
And I kind of felt censored, to be honest. Like I was a little bit pissed off because I want to be able to speak freely, and that I know that's not everybody's kind of cup of tea on language. But I mean, if people don't like that, they're free to click the unfollow button. It wasn't anything that was going to be like, salacious. But I guess really it depends on who is monitoring it and their judgment, I guess. So I mean, what can you do? It's their platform, right?
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I was caught off guard by it, and I've tried to not use that word since then.
It's funny that you didn't even say it.
Yeah, well, I've already been sexist enough on this thing. I don't need to start throwing that around on here now.
Right, we're keeping it 2 strikes. You know,
My reputation.
like you said. Yeah, right. Dance on the sideline. Don't step out, man. You know.
Man, that's
Oh man, but yeah, man. I appreciate you coming on the show. We got to do this again soon. Definitely.
Yeah, well, thanks, man. Yeah, and I appreciate you kind of putting out your podcast and picking up people like myself and other good podcasts. And Chris Brown does not have a classic album, by the way.
Holy shit, we were doing so well.
Yeah, he's a hook singer at best, man. No, just kidding. No, I'm a Chris Brown fan. I just had to go poke you.
Wait, you really think he doesn't have a classic? That's crazy. No, see, the crazy thing is,
I was mostly just breaking your balls.
Oh, I was like, like, damn.
I mean, I would be lying if I said I was educated enough on his catalog to even.
No, I got you, but that's how I know you're listening, man. I appreciate it. Oh man.
Yeah, man, I appreciate having me on, and we'll touch base soon. And
yeah,
I'm gonna
absolutely
release this on my platform as well, and introduce you at King Bo Christ on Twitter.
Yes, sir. Hey, man. Right. And to all my belligerent Canadians, you got a friend in me. Bo from Long Island says cheers.
Cheers, Bo. Appreciate you, man.
Absolutely, bro. Take care.
Take it easy.
Listeners, if you're listening in the podcast app, I need you to go rate this. So make sure you search King Bo Christ or search by the podcast name. I say that to say this. Leave a 5-star rating. I don't know, a goat emoji or something, some nice words, and hit send. I appreciate you listening. Thank you.